All right, what's up, fam? It's your favorite nonfiction storyteller, Matt D. Talford. Listen, I want to hit you up. First off, shout out to everybody who's watching this on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who's watching this on Facebook. Listen, I want to give you guys a little bit of an intro here. The title of today's video is Winter is Coming. Check this out. All right. So listen, if you are familiar with the HBO series Game of Thrones, then you recognize that theme right there. That's the theme song. I think it's the title of the song is A Song of Fire and Ice. I think that's what it's called. Listen, that Song of Fire and Ice, that is anybody who's watched Game of Thrones knows what that is. That music just kind of gets into your bones, and you like humming it sometimes, especially if it was a good episode. But anyway, listen, winter is coming. Winter is coming. We heard that theme from the patriarch of the Stark family, which appeared in season 1. I'm going to try not to play spoiler too bad. I'm going to try to keep it very minimal because some of you guys have never seen the series. Some of you don't care to see it. Some of you read the books. Some of you have seen the series. I'm going to try to keep it as, low key as possible. Ned Stark, season 1, the patriarch of the Stark family. He told his family during that season, he kept saying, listen, winter's coming. He read some of the ancient books. He read the ancient text, the ancient books, ancient texts. Keep that in mind. He knew because of those writings that something was coming that was going to be very devastating. He knew that. So he felt like the safest place for his family was back in their kingdom of Winterfell. So he tried to get them out of King's Landing, where he's he's been promoted to or given the title of Hand of the King. So that kind of had it where he had to stay there. But he was like trying to tell his family, look, get up out of here. There's some stuff coming. Y'all are going to be safer back at home behind the mighty walls of Winterfell. So anyway, he kept with this theme of winter's coming. And you heard this every season. Until we got to almost the end of the series, about a season or so before the end of the series of Game of Thrones, where winter arrived. What came with winter was the army of the dead. And they waged war against all of humanity. Now, am I saying that some army of dead people that are bones with blue eyes and white hair, whatever, are coming from beyond the frozen ice wall out of the tundra to attack mankind? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that Hollywood has this way of foreshadowing things that are to come. They do it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how these people know this stuff. But they do these movies and they put these little clues in there, and within the midst of this entertainment, they drop these little nuggets where people who are aware, they have their spiritual sensitivity, their spiritual radar, their spiritual antenna up. They're able to pick up on those clues and be like, whoa, they're saying something here. Let me give you a case in point. The 1998 film, Enemy of the State, starring Gene Hackman and Will Smith. He's telling you about all this stuff, all of this monitoring, all this listening going on and all this stuff. And then what happens? 3 years later, 9/11 happens, and then the Patriot Act. And we know what happened with the Patriot Act, what came with it, all of this listening and all this other stuff, and constant monitoring or whatever. So I say that to say winter is coming. Winter's coming two ways. It's coming physically, and actually it's kind of here already spiritually, but it hasn't really hit yet. It hasn't hit. We saw the seeds late last year, early this year, and now you got this worldwide thing. Is what I'm gonna call it. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say it on here. You got this worldwide thing that has people going out like this. All right. On that, no more clues. If you guys can't figure it out from that, then I can't help you. So anyway, winter's coming. Now, winter's coming physically because we're now almost midway into September, and with that, the temperature's starting to cool down comfortably, but With that, we got the beginning of we're gonna have the beginning of flu. Flu season's gonna be coming up soon, and the annual flu season. And then you got you have pollen, allergy season. So here's what's happening. We know what we got going on right now in the world. That thing I just covered my nose and mouth for, just to kind of exemplify what's happening. And so, with that, you're going to see an uptick of the stuff that happens every year. You breathe in something, and it causes you to cough, causes you to sneeze, itchy, watery eyes, that kind of stuff, right? But because of this thing, y'all know which thing I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it again. When I say thing, just know what I'm talking about. Because of this thing, you're now going to have something going on in your mind like, ooh, do I have this thing? Is this really allergy? Is this flu? Do I have this thing? So, winter's coming from the standpoint of messing with your mind, all right? Let me tell you what I think you need to do to prepare for it, okay? Because winter is coming. It's coming physically. It's here spiritually, but it hadn't hit yet, but it's about to hit. Mark my word. All right. In the same token that Ned Stark read those ancient texts and knew that something was coming, like winter, and what was coming with that, those of you who know how to study, first of all, those of you who believe in the ancient texts known as the scriptures, I don't even like to say Bible because some people get in their feelings about Bible, like, oh, the Bible was, some of us, we get in our feelings about it. Oh, the Bible is written by the white man. It's the white man religion. No, stop. You're giving too much credit. You're giving way too much credit. Those ancient texts. If this offends you, remember my t-shirts. No righteous man is offended by truth. If the truth offends you, examine your heart. Remember that. No righteous man is ever offended by truth. Okay? So now, we know that the Europeans didn't write the ancient texts. All right? Those ancient texts, those ancient scripts were written by Hebrews. Hebrews, all right? Let me leave it there. Let me leave that with y'all, okay? Hebrews. Now, Israelites. We can go there too. Written by Israel, because all of the Hebrews weren't Israelites. Some of the Hebrews were actually Ishmaelites, all right? So, but anyway, let me fall back off of that. Listen, if you know how to study prophecy, if you believe in the scripture and you know how to study prophecy, and you know what you're looking at, you know there's some stuff coming down the pike, and you know that just from what's happening in the world today. Today is Tuesday, September 15, 2020, according to the Gregorian calendar, and we know that just a day ago there's been this historic peace accord signed with between Israel and Bahrain. So that was historic because now you got this peace accord that. If you follow world politics and stuff, that region of the world has been a hotbed for the last, 1948 to 08 is what? That's 60 years. To 18, that's 70 years. You're talking about 72 years, that area of the world has been a hotbed. It's been a hotbed because you got some people saying, hey, you guys don't belong over here. And then you got other people saying, we belong here, you don't belong here. Now, the funny thing is the original inhabitants still ain't over there. We'll talk about that another day. Winter's coming. Let's deal with that because I want to cut this thing down here. So now, we know that there's been this historic peace accord signed, and we know that that's talked about in the scripture. Let me see if I can find that for you guys. Or as one of my favorite YouTubers, Matthias Ben Yasharallah says, let me get a precept for you, okay? I love that. That's really cool. Let me find a precept. Let's see, sudden destruction, King James Version, let's see. I do believe this is in, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Yup, just read that the other day. All right, let's read that. Let's get that precept up real quick here. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace, and this is from the King James Version, of course. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Is that talking about this time that we're in now? I don't know. We went from an area of the world being a hotbed with political unrest and religious unrest, and now they've signed this historic peace accord. What's coming? Winter's coming. But let's bring it back here to the United States. I just want to use that as an example. Listen, this thing, and that's right. And me telling you guys how you need to prepare for it. Because first off, I'm going to be coming with prophecy. I'm hitting it because we got a lot of work to do and not a whole lot of time to do it in. Okay. We got people out here prepping, buying food and stuff and water and guns and bullets and all of that stuff and stockpiling that stuff. And that ain't necessarily what you need to do to prepare if you're one of the children of the promise, the children of the covenant. I'm talking about the ancient covenant with Abraham. All right. There's some other stuff you need to be doing if you're not doing it already. Now, I'm not saying don't buy food. I'm not saying don't strap up, because you don't know what's going to happen if the infrastructure falls. You're going to need to be able to defend yourself and your family. Okay. If you haven't been endowed with certain spiritual powers, that's a story for another day. But those who are in that vibrating on that frequency, you know what I'm talking about too. If you got certain spiritual powers, the bullets and guns are just trinkets. But we'll deal with that whole nother time. And I know some of y'all watching, if you're watching this on Facebook, shout out to you for watching this on YouTube. I got more followers on YouTube that don't know me than do, so that's a good thing. But those of you watching this on Facebook, you guys have been knowing me for a long time. You're probably laughing right now like, yo, man, Matt has really lost it. I mean, whatever. But let me tell you something. When you've been studying something for a long time and you start to see the fruits of it, you're like, whoa, this was not playing. So let me get back on point. What do you need to be doing? First off, I'm going to set the platform here today. I'm going to set the platform and I'm going to get off of here. And then I'm going to be dealing with some other stuff later that deals with prophecy. Okay. But right now, what you need to be doing, because winter is coming physically and spiritually. When I'm talking about spiritually, if you watch on my YouTube channel back in, I want to say it was probably February, March. I did a video talking about spiritual warfare and how the world had been thrust into spiritual warfare and how we're actually in the midst of World War III right now, but it's not a bullet and guns and bombs type of war like we saw with World Wars I and II. This is different. This is spiritual, because the entire planet is under attack with their mind, and you got people that have been subdued with just words. That's spirit. Spirit is words. You can't touch words. You can't touch them. They go out and they come in and they affect you. Images is spiritual warfare. It's in my book, guys. Read From Fear to Faith, the Survivor Story. It's the subject matter is different, but I'm still dealing with these topics. I say that there are two spiritual pathways into your body that affect you physically. There are 5 pathways into your body that affect you physically. 3 of them are physical: your skin, your mouth, and your nose. And then 2 of them are spiritual: your eyes and your ears. We're in spiritual warfare right now because everybody on the planet right now is, unless they're awake and unbothered, which many of us are, so many are being affected physically by what they're seeing and what they are hearing. So I did this video. Check it out. It's called Spiritual Warfare. It's on my YouTube channel, Matt Talford. If you're watching this on Facebook, you guys, just my name. Go to my YouTube channel. Check it out. Spiritual Warfare. Now, so back to my point here. We're in the middle of spiritual warfare. Yes. And it is affecting you physically by what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So here's what we need to do. Okay, number 1, recognize that this thing is spiritual. This thing that I mentioned earlier, that's more spiritual than it is physical. Watch this. But if you can't get that, if you want to argue with that, then you're not there yet. So we're not going to argue. We're not going to argue, because if you're not here, it would be like someone in a doctorate level, graduate studies in college trying to argue concepts that are at the PhD level with someone who's with a 6th or 7th grader. You're not there yet. So I'm not going to argue with you because you're not there. So anyway, getting back to my point. What do you need to do, what do you need to do to prepare right now, platform wise? Here we go. You need to understand. Let me just give you an example. I'm leaving a tennis lesson on last weekend, and I said to myself, I'm looking and I'm like, you know what, Lord? And I'm praying, because I pray all the time. I'm praying so I'm praying and I'm like, Lord, and I'm saying, Lord, some of you ain't ready for the real names of the Father. It ain't God and it ain't Jesus Christ. It's not, okay? But some of y'all ain't ready for Yahweh Shai. You ain't ready for that. Look it up. Do your study, do your research. But I'm not going to hit you with that, all right? I'm praying and I'm saying, Father, this whole thing right here is affecting so many people. What is the solution? Because there is nothing underneath the heavens that is a problem that does not have a righteous solution. What is the solution, Father? What is this thing that is causing everybody to have a thing? And I'm going to share something with y'all. The Spirit of the Most High spoke to me and said, think back. Think back to what you read in that article where you read a couple years ago that some of the top scientists of the world and people like Bill G, all right, are experimenting with the technology where they're spraying things up in the upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight away from the earth. Now, watch this. Y'all follow me. Y'all stay with me. And if you stayed these whole 15 minutes, you've done yourself a favor. Thank you. Thank you. I know I got a little bit verbose there earlier, but I had to set this thing up. All right. Now, watch this. If you're spraying stuff in the upper atmosphere to reflect sunlight away to deal with so-called global warming, what do we know? Okay. What goes up must come down, right? It ain't staying up there. This is why, and people talk about, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, chemtrails, whatever. Listen, you can see two different types of trails behind a plane when it's flying up in that upper atmosphere. You see condensation, which is a vapor trail. You see that vapor, and then that vapor disappears. So you see a short line of vapor behind a plane, but it's disappearing. And then you see another plane with this persistent white smoke staying behind it, okay? My opinion is that is the material that they're using to block or reflect the sunlight away from the earth to deal with so-called global warming. Now, what reflects? What reflects? Is it smoke? Or is it something metallic? Something metallic. Think about that. So, if these are tiny metallic particles, because metal reflects sunlight, right? Am I right or wrong? Metal reflects sunlight. So if they're spraying microscopic metal, hey, I do sweat, y'all. Y'all pardon me, but I do sweat. Okay, sweating is healthy for you. It's healthy for you. Read my book, From Fear to Faith: The Survivor Story. Anyway, no explanation there. If metal is reflecting sunlight away, and they have to keep spraying it, think about it. You'll see a clear sky, then all of a sudden you see these crisscrosses, and then you see this artificial layer of clouds. And I like to call them clouds that don't rain. Clouds that don't rain. Think about it. Think about these giant cotton balls all of us have seen since we were children, and compare them to these blankets that we see. Whole area is blanketed. Now, you can call that conspiracy theory if you want. I'm saying, listen, they have been talking about reflecting the sunlight away from the earth for a couple of years. That is going to do it. But guess what? If that's metal and it's coming down, you're getting it in your lungs at some point. You're going to breathe it in at some point. You're going to be exposed to it at some point because it's got to come down. If it didn't come down, they would spray it once and they didn't have to spray it anymore, right? But you're dealing with weather. You're dealing with wind. So stuff moves stuff and shifts stuff in the atmosphere. So you got to keep spraying it, right? So if that stuff is coming down, it's constantly being bombarded, you're breathing it in. Guess what? What happens in allergy season? You're breathing in tiny particles of something that does not belong in your body, and your body reacts to it. Inflammation, sneezing, a histamine reaction. That's why people load up on the antihistamines in the fall and the winter months, because these these things that make them allergic, they start teary-eye, running nose or whatever. That is your body's immune response, an inflammatory response to push something out of your system that does not belong there. All right? So if that is how, and listen, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I probably should have said this up front. I have been an IT troubleshooter professionally. I shouldn't say have been. I should say had been, because it's a past participle, whatever. I did that from 1990 what? When did I leave the ER? I worked in 1997 through 2013. I did professional IT services, okay? And I'll still do some on the side even to this day. So when you're a lifetime troubleshooter, problem resolver, you're always looking for the answer. Hey, what is causing this thing to be broken? So that's just the way your mind works. When something is broken, something's not functioning right, your mind functions in such a way to try to figure out what is the root cause, because you're never going to resolve a problem unless you deal with the root cause. So we're talking about a thing, right? A thing that's causing an inflammatory response in your respiratory system, okay? How does that happen? Newton's first law of motion says objects at motion remain at motion unless acted upon by some outside force, and objects at rest remain at rest unless acted upon by some outside force. So if you're breathing clear and clean and fine, and then all of a sudden you're not, then some outside force caused that in accordance with Newton's first law of motion, right? Okay, so it's the same thing. It's the same principle. So what is that thing? What is that thing? What is that thing that is causing this inflammation beyond allergy season, beyond flu season? Start thinking. What will cause that? Metal. Metal can. If you get metal, you get little tiny. Metal does not belong. Now, all of our bodies have some degree of metal in our blood. We do. Silver, gold. We got minerals in our blood. We do. That's the content of your blood. Your blood has minerals in it. But when you start getting stuff in your lungs from outside that didn't belong there, that you didn't get from the food supply, you didn't get your minerals from the earth via the food supply, then your body's going to create an inflammatory response to fight off an invader. Now, there's been a ton of documentation. I'm not a scientist. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not a medical doctor, whatever. But there's a ton of documentation out there that talks about how your body's immune response is to create something called exosomes, which are viruses, little viruses that go and attack invaders that don't belong in your body. I'm going to leave that alone. Let's get back on this metal, okay? If metal it reflects sunlight away and they're spraying metal up there in the atmosphere, guess what? You're getting it outside. You're getting it in your house. How are you getting it in your house? I'm not an HVAC specialist, but I think your HVAC people will tell you that you do pull in fresh air from outside into your house and it's filtered. They will tell you that. So guess what? If the air outside is crappy, then the air inside, unless you got some kind of special filtration system, you're going to be getting some of that stuff in your interior air as well. You're opening your doors, your windows, whatever, to get fresh air in. You're getting in whatever is outside blowing. You're getting it, okay? So you're going to breathe it in. So how do you combat that? If you can't stop what's going on up here, then the best thing you can do is to build your body up and get your body to where your body can resist it, or to where you can detox your body and pull this stuff out as it's coming in. So if it's metal, then guess what you need to be doing? You need to be ingesting foods, liquids, plant phytochemicals or whatever that act as chelators. Chelators, CHELATOR. Chelation, CHELATION. This is the process of getting metals and other stuff out of your body. So do your research and find out what foods help to pull metals, help to do heavy metal detox for your body. There are also some devices out there to do it. You got the ionic foot baths, you got other things that pull heavy metals out of your body. So this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to constantly detox your body. Now, you're also going to have to watch what you're putting in. Listen, this is no time to be, oh, this tastes great, I want to eat. Let me tell you something. I've heard the term everything in moderation. You probably need to slide that scale of moderation back even further than it's ever been, okay? Because if you're not eating clean and not eating whole foods, and I'm not in here to talk about being a vegan or nothing. I'm not a vegan myself. If veganism works for you, great. If being a vegetarian works for you, great. If being a carnivore works for you, great. I'm just saying, watch what you put in your body. Try to eat clean. Try to eat, if you're going to eat meat, try not to eat meat that's got a bunch of hormones in it and a bunch of antibiotics and stuff like that. Try to eat as clean as you possibly can. You got some friends that like to hunt. Yo, man, hey, man, how much can I pay you for a whole side of deer meat? Whatever your thing is. What I'm telling you is you need to eat clean, all right? I would cut back on the dairy, to be honest with you. Why? Because cheese and milk, the stuff that come from a cow, that stuff produces excess mucus in your system. If you got stuff going on, mucus slows your chi down. It slows your life force down. Mucus slows you down. When you got mucus all in your lungs, you can't even get a lot of good oxygen in it, all right? When you do a good digestive system detox, guess what? You also not only push out the crap that was in your colon and stuff that wasn't coming down, you're also pushing out mucus too. You don't believe me? Get up, do a good detox and watch. Now, let me tell you, I want to tell you a product that I use that helps with that. I use ISOT. ISOT, I got some links in the description below on where you can buy ISOT. My preferred one is the Lemonade CBD tea. Why? Because CBD is a natural anti-inflammatory. Okay, so when I get that, not only am I getting a detox tea, and it's instant, you can put it in 12 ounces of hot water, you can put it in 16 ounces of hot water, you can put it in a 16-ounce bottle and shake it up and drink it cold, whatever. I prefer to drink it at night and let that do its magic, and then when I get up in the morning, I do my oil pull. I do oil pulls. I had a call there that just messed me up, man. Just messed up my video, but that's all right. I'm going with. I should have had my phone in airplane mode here. Let me go to airplane mode right now, so I don't get any more in distractions or interruptions there. Okay, so now we're in airplane. So we're back in airplane mode. Sorry guys, This is crazy right now. There's somebody somewhere that don't want me to say this stuff, but you know what? The spirit of righteousness does want me to share this with you guys. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. Listen, eat clean, all right? Drink plenty of water that is as clean as you possibly can. Now, I've read different things. Some people swear by distilled water. Some people like, oh, don't touch distilled water, strips and minerals from your body, whatever. I drink distilled water as much as I possibly can because it has 0 TDSs in it, totally dissolved solids. Now, if you don't want distilled water, there's a great water filtration system out there called Zero Water. And it gets out almost up to all of the totally dissolved solids out of your water. It takes a while to filter, so you can use tap water and run it through there, but that gets the TDSs out. And I think they got a little meter, and they tell you if your TDS is above 6, change your filter. So I've used the Zero Water filter too, and it works great. Okay. Problem is some municipalities' water will cause that filter to stop functioning faster than it is rated to work. So in other words, if it's a 6-month filter, that filter, or if it filters X number of, let's say for example, it filters 100 gallons on average, you might be in a municipality where you'd be lucky to get 50 gallons out of it because the water's that crappy. But hey, the Zero Water system works very well. So go with that. That is about it, guys. This was just a platform. When I say platform, I'm talking about staying thing free as much as you can. Okay, that thing that is supposed to be another thing is probably just you inhaling and breathing in constantly this freaking metal that's being sprayed up to reflect sunlight away from the earth to cure global warming. Most ignorant thing I ever heard. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you spraying stuff up here, it's gonna fall down. And the last thing I'll say is, it seems that they always step that up in the cold months. Why? Because in the winter months, there's less hours of sunlight. So it's going to be a lot more efficient to spray something that reflects sunlight away during the winter months. This is why I said winter is coming. They getting ready to step up this spraying, y'all, big time. When you got cats predicting, oh yeah, we're going to see a major uptick in thing-related cases this year, you can bet your bottom dollar they've already done the math. It makes sense, right? Not only does the summer months include longer days of sunlight, which means you would have to, from a cost perspective, it doesn't even make sense. Probably what you're going to see in the summer is when they're spraying the reflective, sunlight reflecting stuff away, chemicals up there, it's probably on days where it's partly cloudy already because they can get that benefit of having some of the clouds help with the work. But for the most part, summertime, you got hours and hours and hours of sunlight. Guess what that sunlight does? Not only does it make it more difficult to be efficient when you're trying to block out sunlight, but it also, remember the sun's radiation, it breaks up other type of radiation because the sun's radiation is pretty much all powerful on the earth. So it breaks up other type. This is why it's harder to get AM radio stations from a long distance during the daytime than it is at night. At night, those wavelengths travel further distances because they don't have to compete with the radiation from the sun. Okay, so this is stuff we learned in elementary school, folks. It's not rocket science. So listen, winter is coming. Winter is coming. So prepare yourself. We're going to be getting into the prophecy side of this, but I wanted to hit you guys on the physical side. Why? Because when your body is affected. How do I want to say this? When your body is when your body is sick or worn down or fighting, your spiritual receptors. How can you receive when you're constantly like, you know what I mean? So you want to be focused. You want to be mentally sharp. You want to keep your mind clear. How do you do that? You drink plenty of water. You drink plenty of water. All right. It's like electricity. Electricity is conducted through water easily. You try to conduct electricity through mud or through some earth or something, it doesn't work so well. It needs a conductor. Water's a conductor, so make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you stay hydrated so that your electrical signals are firing optimally. When your electrical signals are firing optimally, you are able to receive, all right? You're able to receive more efficiently. The more efficient your electrical systems are working, the more your spiritual receptors are going to work effectively. I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys. If you get your gut, this is why these spiritual men of old, they were going these long fasts, because their gut is clear. Their gut is clear, so now they're empty and they're able to receive. But when your gut got sludge all in it, your body's bogged down. You can't receive as efficiently as someone who has a clean gut, who is well hydrated. Listen, I could go on with this. Winter's coming, y'all. Prepare your bodies. Understand that all of this hacking and stuff is about to get stepped up, because it's going to be so much smoke. You're not going to know if you're dealing with pollen, ragweed, whatever the normal allergens, dust, pet dander. You're not going to know if you're dealing with the normal allergens that you get during allergy season, or if you're dealing with some other metallic stuff that you're inhaling. All right. The other thing too, this might be too much for you guys, but let's do a little bit of math here. Right now, the people who are opponents of 5G, the opponents, I'm not talking to you proponents, the people who are opponents of 5G, what do they all say? They all say the same thing. 5G is microwave radiation. All right. Now, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together for y'all, and I'm going to get off this video. If you're inhaling and ingesting, you can ingest it too. I can tell my system is so sensitive since I dealt with the abdominal C word about 9 years ago. Ever since I came through that situation, I can tell you my system, my digestive system, the sensitivity is heightened. I know when I got something in my system that's no good. I can smell when food is spoiled in ways that I never could before. Okay, my system is like, it got an upgrade when I went through that situation with that abdominal tumor. Okay, so I can tell when something is, but you can do that too if you clean your body out. Get this ISOT in you. I'm not just here to sell you on something. Get this ISOT in you because it works. But guess what? I want you to DM me I got a cheat code that'll put that ISOT on steroids. But I'm not gonna drop it in this video. If you want to know what it is, you're gonna have to DM me. You're gonna have to DM me, and I'm gonna tell you how to hyper the effects of that ISOT, and not in a negative way. I'm talking about where you feel so clean, you're like, why wasn't I doing this 15, 20, 30 years ago? That's what I'm talking about. I got it for you. Hit me up, okay? Hit me up in the DM if you want the cheat code, okay? All right. ISO is gonna work great by itself, but I got a method that puts it on steroids. All right. Now, not literal steroids for you literal heads out there, right? Okay. Now, so getting back to my last point, metal, 5G. What do people say about 5G? The opponents of 5G say, it's dangerous, it's microwave radiation, it's gonna fry you. Now, what happens when you put metal, something metallic, in your microwave and close the door and hit the button to turn it on? Do the math. Keep that extra metal out of your body. Keep it out. If you can't help what you're breathing in, and I'm not a big opponent. I mean, I'm not pro-mask. I'm not going to hate on somebody who wears them, but I'm not pro-mask either, because I need to be able to. I need to get the natural vaccination. The natural vaccination is you getting exposed to something that's in the environment that doesn't agree with your body, and then your body building antibodies up to it. I don't want you injecting crap in me. All right, all right. The Most High, when He created us, He gave us that vaccination ability just with your own immune system. All right? Think about it. If you injecting something in me, you're doing the same thing that I'm going to do myself if I get exposed to it. So why do I need you injecting God knows what into me? You know why you want to do it. I know why I don't want you to do it. But that's a story for another day. All right? So, again, I'm not mad at you if you're wearing masks or whatever. I don't wear them if the public ordinance is you can't come in this establishment unless you got a mask on, I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm going to play along. I'll take this off my head and throw it on my nose, whatever. So I'm good. But my point is, if you must wear one, you out because you don't want to inhale that stuff, I get it. I totally get it. But I'm telling you, your house pulls in fresh air from outside too. So if the air ain't so fresh, guess what you're breathing in the inside of your house too. So the moral of the story is until the Most High and the angels come and wipe these demonic people that's running this planet, that's trying to lower the population. And yeah, I said, if you want to call me conspiracy theorist, do your thing. I don't care. All right. At some point, you're gonna know the truth, and the truth gonna do what? It's gonna make you free. It's gonna set you free if you're still around. All right. Now, so that being said, if you gotta wear the mask, I get it. But the best thing you can do for yourself is to constantly be making sure that you're pulling crap out of your system. Detox. Get the ionic foot bath. That stuff pulls. It's going to leave that water looking nasty. Some people call it a hoax. I'm here to tell you it works. It worked for me. All right. I'm someone who battled the C word. I was on the front line dealing with a very deadly form of it. Y'all don't know my story. You know this. All right. But get down with that. Eat foods and drink beverages, even if you got to blend some herbs up and drink it, whatever, Stephen hot water, drink it. Find out what herbs are chelators. In other words, what herbs stimulate a response in your body that pulls, or what herbs bind to heavy metals and pull them out of your body. There are herbs out there, there are plant materials out there that attract heavy metals to them, to their compounds. Once it gets broken down by your digestive system and gets in your body, this stuff attracts heavy metals to it like a magnet and pulls this stuff out of your system when you poop it out. All right. So you got to drink plenty of water, and you got to eat and drink these things that attract metals to them in your body so that they can be flushed out and removed. All right. All right. So keep that in mind. And listen, exercise, sweat. Your pores is another major detox organ that is underrated, heavily underrated. Okay. Your lungs is a major detox organ that is heavily underrated. When you get that cardiorespiratory system up and working, not only are you breathing in oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide, you're also breathing out crap. You're breathing out crap. All right. Every now and then, take a break from wearing deodorant, even if it's just at night. Even when you take that shower, when you come in at the end of the day or whatever, you know, we're Americans, we like to stay clean. All right. You take that shower after you get off work and you get ready to relax, put your lounge wear on or whatever. Don't wear any deodorant. Don't wear any deodorant to bed. You're going to get up and take a shower in the morning anyway, a lot of us. So let your armpits sweat. That's where a lot of that crap is coming out of. But guess what? If you're covering it with deodorant that has aluminum in it, not only are you blocking your body's ability to remove toxins via your armpits, you are also putting metal into your skin. So you doubling down on the tox. All right? So listen, y'all, I could go on with this all day. Y'all know my passion. I cover a lot of these topics in my book, From Fear to Faith, Survivor Story. I am out of print options right now. I've sold out all of my print copies. I'm going to be doing another print run in the not too distant future, but don't let that hold you up. For right now, what you need to be doing is you need to download the book. You need to download it. I got it in Kindle. I got it in Apple iBooks or Apple Books or whatever you want to call it. Those are my two digital those are my two ebook formats. But guess what? You can also get it in an audiobook for those of you that prefer to listen. And it's me narrating it. So that's a special treat. Nothing like a person who lives something telling their own story. All right? Skillfully. All right? So listen, that's all I got for y'all today. I could go on. Listen, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Prepare yourself for it. They tried to tell us in Game of Thrones. All right? Winter's coming. Winter is coming. So you guys, listen, you guys be blessed. Stay vigilant. And stay tuned to my channel. Listen, like this video, subscribe, share it if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, share it, okay? Share it. I typically don't do the world globe thing. I typically keep stuff just posted to my friends. But if you say, hey, Matt, can you change the privacy so I can share this? I'm happy to do that, all right? I'm happy to do that. Guys, listen, I love y'all. This is why I'm sharing this information, because we are all we got. We are all we got. And check out my blog too, mdtalford.com, because I write a lot of stuff there that I don't do videos on. You have to read it. You have to be willing to read it. I think the awards that I have say that I'm a skilled writer. I'm not bragging, but I know a lot of people they don't like to read whatever. Let me tell you something. When you read me, before you know it, you're at the end of the article or the book or the page or whatever, and you're like, where's the rest of it? That's the hallmark of my writing. I've had a number of people tell me that very same thing. So listen, guys. I didn't mean for this video to be this long, but you guys have heard that theme before too, right? So I'm going to take you guys out on a little bit more of this Game of Thrones theme. And man, I love y'all, man. Listen, we all we got. We are all we got. We are all we got, okay? We're all we got. Peace, y'all.
Connected to Matthew's iPhone.
Y'all stay blessed. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Tell somebody you love them and mean it. But more importantly, show it. I love y'all. Peace.